3 black luxury cars with tinted windows pulled up to Sarah Miller's modest apartment building. Men in expensive suits emerged, led by a familiar face, the disheveled man from yesterday, now transformed in an impeccable tailored suit. Sarah stood frozen in her doorway, scissors still in hand from cutting coupons at her kitchen table. "How did you find me?" she whispered, her voice barely audible over the pounding of her heart. The man smiled. "I make it my business to find exceptional people, Miss Miller, and what your boss did yesterday, that's about to change everything." Hi everyone, welcome to In the Heartlight. If you enjoy the video, make sure to hit like and subscribe for more wonderful stories. Let's get started. The morning had begun like any other for Sarah Miller. The 35-year-old stylist arrived at Platinum Cuts Salon 20 minutes early, as she had done for the past 8 years. She wiped down her station, arranged her tools with surgical precision, and reviewed her appointment book. 5 clients today. A manageable day compared to her usual packed schedule. Sarah's station stood out from the others at Platinum Cuts. While her colleagues displayed fashion magazines and celebrity photos, Sarah's mirror was adorned with thank you cards and children's drawings. A small framed photo of an older woman, her mother, sat beside her collection of high-end styling products. "Another early bird day, Sarah?" called Denise from the reception desk, unlocking the front door. Sarah smiled. "Mom had a good night, so I actually got some sleep for once." The other stylists trickled in as the clock approached opening time. Marcus Reynolds, the salon owner, made his usual dramatic entrance at precisely 9 a.m., designer sunglasses perched on his perfectly coiffed hair. At 42, Marcus had built Platinum Cuts into one of the most prestigious salons in the city, a fact he never let his employees forget. "Ladies and gentlemen," he announced, clapping his hands for attention, "the Luxe brand's corporate team is conducting surprise visits to all their newly acquired salons this week. That means we need to be absolutely perfect. Maximum upselling on products, no discounts, and for God's sake, don't go over your allotted appointment times." 6 months ago, Marcus had sold Platinum Cuts to Luxe Brands, a multinational beauty corporation, while staying on as managing director. The acquisition had come with higher prices, stricter policies, and a commission structure that rewarded product sales over customer satisfaction. Sarah's first client arrived, Mrs. Abernathy, an 80-year-old widow who came in every 3 weeks for her standing appointment. "Just a trim today, Sarah dear," Mrs. Abernathy said, settling into the chair. "These medication copays are killing me this month." Sarah gently draped the cape around the elderly woman's shoulders. "Don't worry about it, Mrs. A. We'll do the friends and family discount today." Sarah knew that technically there was no such discount. She would simply take the reduction out of her own commission. It wasn't the first time, and Marcus usually looked the other way for long-standing clients. Usually. The day progressed smoothly. Sarah worked with her usual attention to detail, listening carefully to each client, offering suggestions when asked, and creating looks that brought genuine smiles to their faces. Unlike some of her colleagues who rushed through appointments to maximize their client count, Sarah believed in taking the time each person deserved. At 5:45 p.m., 15 minutes before closing, Sarah was cleaning her station when the bell above the door chimed. A man in his mid-50s entered, looking distinctly out of place in the upscale salon. His graying hair was overgrown and unkempt, his clothes rumpled and worn at the edges. Though clean, he had the tired look of someone going through difficult times. Marcus emerged from his office, taking in the man's appearance with a barely concealed grimace. "I'm sorry, sir, we're about to close, and we don't accept walk-ins without an appointment." The man's shoulders slumped. "I understand. It's just, I have a job interview tomorrow. First one in months. Thought maybe I could get a quick haircut to look presentable." "Perhaps you could try the discount chain at the mall," Marcus suggested, already turning back toward his office. "I checked there first," the man said quietly. "They're closed for a staff meeting." Sarah set down her cleaning cloth. "I can help you," she called out. Marcus froze, then slowly turned. "Sarah, we're closing, and we're fully booked tomorrow." It won't take long, Sarah insisted. 30 minutes tops. You all can go, I'll lock up. The man looked between them uncertainly. I should mention, I can only afford about half your listed price. The interview is for an office manager position, and I really need to look the part. Before Marcus could refuse again, Sarah gestured to her chair. Have a seat, sir. We'll work something out. As the other stylists headed out, throwing curious glances over their shoulders, Marcus approached Sarah's station. A word, Miss Miller? He said, his voice dangerously soft. In the break room, Marcus closed the door. What exactly do you think you're doing? Helping someone who needs it, Sarah replied calmly. It's just one haircut. It's not just one haircut. It's giving away services when we have quarterly targets to meet. It's undermining our premium brand positioning. It's teaching clients they can haggle over our prices. Sarah met his gaze steadily. It's helping a man get a job so he can eventually afford to come back as a regular client. Marcus's expression hardened. Finish the cut because I won't have him leaving half done, but we'll discuss this tomorrow. He stalked out, leaving Sarah to return to her client. I'm sorry about that, she said, adjusting the cape around the man's shoulders. I don't want to cause trouble, he said. Perhaps I should go. Absolutely not. Now tell me about this job you're interviewing for. As Sarah worked, the man explained he was interviewing at a corporate office after being laid off from his previous management position when his company downsized. He'd been job hunting for months while depleting his savings. Sarah listened, offering encouragement as she transformed his appearance. She didn't just give him a basic cut. She created a sophisticated style that framed his face perfectly, making him look both professional and approachable. When she finished, she showed him how to style it himself with minimal product. I can't believe it, he said, staring at his reflection. I look 10 years younger. Sarah smiled. First impressions matter in interviews. Now you look like the capable professional you are. When he reached for his wallet, Sarah waved him off. Consider it my investment in your future success. Just promise to let me know if you get the job. I can't accept this for free, he protested. You're not. You'll come back when you're employed and become a regular client. That's payment enough. After the man left, Sarah cleaned her station and was preparing to lock up when Marcus reappeared from his office. That was completely free, wasn't it? He asked, having watched the client leave. He'll come back when he's on his feet, Sarah defended. 8 years, Sarah. 8 years you've worked here, and you still don't understand this business. Marcus shook his head. This isn't a charity. It's a premium salon with expenses, overhead, and profit margins. It's also a place where we help people look and feel their best, Sarah countered. Isn't that what we're really selling? Confidence? Self-esteem? What we're selling are $200 haircuts and $85 styling products, not feel-good moments. Marcus straightened his designer tie. This isn't the first time you've done this. The free deep conditioning for the teenager with damaged hair, the complimentary color correction for the woman with the botched home dye job. Those were special circumstances. They're all special circumstances with you, Sarah. Marcus threw his hands up. Every sob story, every hard luck case, and you're reaching for the discount sheet or doing it for free. Those people became loyal clients, Sarah pointed out, and others learned they can get special treatment if they just tell you their problems. Marcus's expression hardened. The new corporate structure doesn't allow for your freelance charity work. I've looked the other way before, but with Lux Brands evaluating us, I can't anymore. Sarah felt a chill. What are you saying? I'm saying you're fired, effective immediately. You consistently violate salon policy, undermine our pricing structure, and frankly, set a terrible example for newer stylists. The words hit Sarah like a physical blow. You're firing me for giving a haircut to someone who needed help? I'm firing you for giving away services without authorization, repeatedly, after multiple warnings. Marcus held out his hand. Your key card, please. Sarah's hands trembled as she removed the salon key card from her lanyard. 8 years. 8 years of building her client list, perfecting her craft, arriving early and staying late. What about my clients? She asked, her voice barely above a whisper. We'll distribute them among the other stylists, Marcus replied. You can collect your personal items, but your station equipment belongs to the salon. 30 minutes later, Sarah left Platinum Cuts with a small box containing her photographs, thank you cards, and a few personal styling tools. The weight of what had just happened hadn't fully registered yet. All she knew was that tomorrow morning, for the first time in 8 years, she wouldn't be walking through those doors. At her small one-bedroom apartment, Sarah's mother looked up from her knitting, immediately sensing something was wrong. At 68, Elaine Miller's body had been weakened by rheumatoid arthritis, but her eyes remained sharp. "What happened, sweetheart?" she asked as Sarah set down the box. "I lost my job, Mom." Sarah collapsed onto the couch beside her mother. "Marcus fired me for giving a free haircut to someone who couldn't afford it." Elaine put down her knitting and took her daughter's hand. "Tell me everything." As Sarah recounted the day's events, tears she'd been holding back finally fell. "I don't regret helping that man, but I should have handled it differently. Maybe paid for it myself officially, or—" "You did nothing wrong," Elaine interrupted firmly. "You saw someone in need and you helped them. That's how I raised you. Principals don't pay the rent, Mom, or your medical bills." Sarah glanced at the stack of envelopes on the kitchen counter, reminders of the ongoing costs of her mother's treatment. 7 years ago, Sarah had been offered a position at a prestigious salon in New York. It would have been her big break, working with celebrities, fashion shows, magazine shoots. Then her mother was diagnosed with aggressive rheumatoid arthritis, requiring regular treatments and eventually making it difficult for her to live alone. Sarah had declined the offer, staying to care for the woman who had sacrificed everything to raise her. "We'll figure it out," Elaine assured her. "We always do." But as Sarah prepared dinner, she couldn't shake the knot of anxiety in her stomach. Her emergency savings would cover expenses for maybe 2 months. Finding another position at a high-end salon would take time. Stylists with her experience typically gave notice months in advance, making immediate openings rare. After dinner, Sarah called 4 salon owners she knew in the area. 1 wasn't hiring. 2 had no openings for at least 3 months. The 4th expressed interest but couldn't match her previous salary. By bedtime, Sarah had updated her resume and applied to 7 positions online, including some at lower-tier salons where she would earn significantly less. Sleep eluded her as she stared at the ceiling, mentally calculating how long they could last on her savings, which bills could be deferred, what expenses could be cut. The irony wasn't lost on her. All this because she'd tried to help someone else who was struggling financially. Morning came too quickly. Sarah was at the kitchen table cutting coupons from the newspaper, a habit she'd picked up from her mother, when the sound of car engines drew her attention. Looking out the window of her ground-floor apartment, she watched in confusion as 3 black luxury sedans with tinted windows pulled up outside. Men in suits emerged from the vehicles. Sarah recognized one immediately, the disheveled man from yesterday, except he wasn't disheveled anymore. Dressed in an impeccable suit that probably cost more than her monthly rent, he looked every inch a successful executive. A knock at the door startled her. Still holding her scissors, Sarah opened it to find the man standing there, flanked by 2 others in equally expensive attire. "Miss Miller," he greeted her with a warm smile. "I hope I'm not intruding." "How did you find me?" she asked, bewildered. "I make it my business to find exceptional people," he replied. "May I come in? I believe we have important matters to discuss." Still stunned, Sarah stepped aside to let them enter. Her mother looked up from the sofa, curiosity written across her face. "Mrs. Miller," the man nodded respectfully. "I'm Jonathan Reynolds, CEO of Lux Brands International. Your daughter gave me an exceptional haircut yesterday, and I'd like to speak with her about it." Sarah's mind raced to catch up. "You're the CEO of Lux Brands? The company that owns Platinum Cuts?" "The very same," Jonathan confirmed. "Though when I visited your salon yesterday, I wasn't there as the CEO. I was conducting what we call undercover assessments of our recently acquired properties." "You were pretending to be someone who couldn't afford a haircut," Sarah said slowly, realization dawning. "Not entirely pretending," Jonathan corrected. I presented myself as someone in need to see how your salon would respond. It's a method I've used for years. The best way to judge a business is by how it treats people who can't afford premium prices. One of the men who had accompanied Jonathan stepped forward. We've done these assessments at 12 different locations this month. Your response was unique. This is Harmon Wells, our director of operations, Jonathan explained. And this, he indicated the third man, is Gregory Chen, our head of talent acquisition. Sarah noticed movement outside through her window. A fourth car had arrived, and from it emerged Marcus, looking distinctly uncomfortable as he was escorted toward her apartment. "You've brought Marcus here?" Sarah asked. "He's a necessary part of this conversation," Jonathan said, his expression hardening slightly. "May I?" He gestured to the dining table. As they seated themselves around Sarah's small table, Marcus was brought in. His normally confident demeanor was gone, replaced by barely concealed anxiety. "Mr. Reynolds," he began, "if this is about yesterday—" "It is precisely about yesterday," Jonathan interrupted, "about how you fired one of your most skilled stylists for showing compassion to a client in need." "I was enforcing company policy," Marcus defended weakly. "The premium pricing structure was never meant to exclude human decency." Jonathan cut him off again. "Ms. Miller, would you be surprised to learn that after leaving your salon yesterday, I had my team pull all your client records?" Sarah blinked. "My client records? You have a retention rate of 98%, Gregory Chen spoke up. "That's virtually unheard of in the industry. Your clients not only stay with you, they refer friends and family at 3 times the rate of other stylists. And despite giving occasional discounts or complimentary services," Harmon added, "your annual revenue contribution to Platinum Cuts exceeds every other stylist by 22%. Marcus's face had gone pale. "The true measure of a premium brand isn't just its price point," Jonathan said, leaning forward. "It's the experience it provides, the loyalty it inspires, and the values it embodies. Yesterday, Miss Miller, you were the only person at that salon who understood that." "I was just doing what I thought was right," Sarah said quietly. "Exactly," Jonathan smiled. "And today, I'd like to do what I think is right." He opened a leather portfolio and slid a document across the table to Sarah. "This is a job offer. We'd like you to become the new training director for all Luxe Brands salon properties." Sarah stared at the document in disbelief. "Training director? Your technical skills are exceptional, but it's your approach to client care that we really want you to teach others," Gregory explained. "The position includes developing training programs for new stylists, conducting workshops at our locations nationwide, and helping shape our customer experience standards." Sarah scanned the document, her breath catching when she saw the salary figure. More than 3 times what she'd been making at Platinum Cuts. "The position also offers flexible scheduling," Jonathan added, glancing meaningfully at Elaine. "We understand you have family responsibilities and we value work-life balance." "And Marcus?" Sarah asked, looking up at her former boss. Jonathan's expression grew serious. "Mr. Reynolds will be stepping down as managing director of Platinum Cuts effective immediately. He'll be offered a position as a junior stylist at our training facility, where he'll undergo a comprehensive customer care retraining program." Marcus looked as though he might protest, then thought better of it. "Should he successfully complete that program," Jonathan continued, "he may be considered for a management position in the future, though never again at Platinum Cuts." Sarah felt her mother's hand on her shoulder. Elaine had quietly moved behind her chair during the conversation. "Take it, sweetheart," she whispered. "You've earned this." Sarah looked at the contract again, then back at Jonathan Reynolds. The disheveled man she'd helped without hesitation, now offering her a chance to transform not just her life, but the experiences of countless clients and stylists. "Mr. Reynolds," she said, her voice steady now, "I accept your offer, on one condition." Jonathan raised an eyebrow, intrigued. "And that would be?" "I want to establish a company-wide program for community service, providing free services to people genuinely in need. Job seekers, cancer patients, anyone who needs our help to feel confident and valued." Jonathan exchanged glances with his executives, then smiled. "Miss Miller, that was already in the works as part of your role. We're calling it Styling with Heart, and you'll direct its implementation. For the first time since leaving Platinum Cuts the previous evening, Sarah felt tears threatening again. Not from despair, but from vindication. Everything she believed about her profession, about the true meaning of service, was being validated at the highest level. As the executives prepared to leave, Jonathan paused at the door. "Oh, and Miss Miller, I got the job." He winked, touching his perfectly styled hair. 6 months later, Sarah stood at the front of a training room in Lux Brand's corporate headquarters. 20 new stylists watched attentively as she demonstrated a cutting technique. "Technical skill is essential," she told them. "But what truly builds a career is understanding that every person who sits in your chair is more than a customer. There's someone trusting you with their appearance, their confidence, their self-image." After the session, Sarah checked her phone to find messages from 4 different salon managers reporting successful Styling with Heart events in their locations. The program had already provided services to over 2,000 people nationwide. Job seekers, domestic violence survivors, cancer patients, and others in need. Her mother's latest medical report showed significant improvement with the specialized treatment they could now afford. The apartment had been traded for a comfortable house with accessibility features that gave Elaine more independence. As Sarah packed up her training materials, her assistant poked her head in. "Your 4 is here." "Send him in," Sarah replied. A young man entered, nervously clutching a folder. "Miss Miller, I'm here for the apprenticeship interview. I know I don't have formal training yet, but you have potential," Sarah finished, noticing his worn shoes and carefully mended shirt. "And sometimes that's all you need is a chance." She gestured to the styling chair. "Before we talk, how about a haircut? Free of charge." The young man's face lit up with hope, the same expression Sarah had seen on countless faces since that fateful day when giving a free haircut to the right person had changed everything. In life's most unexpected moments, the kindness we show to others often finds its way back to us. Sometimes from the most unexpected sources. For Sarah Miller, what began as a simple act of compassion became the foundation for transforming not just her own life, but the culture of an entire company. Love this story? Hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more. Don't forget to check out the video currently on your screen. You won't want to miss it. See you in the next one.